Hi, I'm Carla Schaefer, Auntie Speeds designer, and we are going to learn how to make a bracelet using jump rings and connectors and also a pair of earrings. Let's go over a list of supplies that we'll need for today's projects. We're going to be using these gold vermeil rings. I'm also going to be using a 4.5 gold oval jump ring, and also for this project I'm using a gold vermeil fleur-de-lis and a Swarovski helix in velvet, purple velvet, and also a golden shadow rondelle. You will also need an eye pin and a head pin in the gold. For the bracelet, we're going to be using sterling silver hammered links, and the original product from Swarovski that I used we have actually sold out of, but I'm going to show you how you can do the same bracelet using a different kind of connector. Instead of using the baguette, we're going to be using an oval connector from Swarovski, and we will also be using a toggle clasp. This is a sterling silver hammered oval toggle, and you will need jump rings, and I believe these are probably about an 18 gauge jump ring. And for tools, you will need a pair of nipper tools, you'll need a round nose plier, you'll need chain nose pliers, and flat nose pliers. The first project we'll be doing is the earrings, and as in the last Carla Cam, I went over how to open and close jump rings, and so this is why we're doing this project. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first jump ring, and I'm going to open them, and again you push away or pull towards you. You do not pull them apart, you just kind of separate them this way. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the two loops together. So we just slip them on the jump ring, and then we close just the same. I'm using the flat nose and the chain nose pliers. And then to close them, we're going to bring them back together just like we pulled them apart until they kind of click together. And then now you've got them hooked together. First thing I'm going to do now after I've got the rings connected is I'm going to open up the eye pin, and I'm going to slip it on the link, the smaller loop, and then we're going to close it. And we close an eye pin, open and close an eye pin much like you do a jump ring. Then I'm going to slip on the purple velvet bead, and then I'm going to wrap a loop. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers and then clip the excess wire with the nipper tool. And then with the earring finding, again you open these much like you do a jump ring, and again you just grasp the open part, pull it toward you, slip the wraps loop on, and then close it. And then we have the links dangling here. And then the last thing we need to do, or the last thing we need to do, is add the little fleur-de-lis to this jump ring. And again, I'm going to take that jump ring, I'm going to open it just slightly, I'm going to slip the loop and then close it, and then it hangs down like that. And then we're going to drop another bead from the fleur-de-lis. So then I'm going to take a head pin and drop the little golden shadow rondelle. I'm going to start a loop, and then I'm going to slip it into the bottom loop of the fleur-de-lis, and then I'm going to close the wrap. And then I'm going to trim that with my nipper tool. And then we've completed our earring just by using the jump rings. And then what you would do is you would repeat for the second earring just as you did with this one. First thing I'm going to do with the bracelet is I'm just going to lay out the findings so that when I'm starting to construct it, it'll be easier to pick them up and put it together. So I'm just doing an oval connector, and then I'm using the rectangle on the end. I'm alternating them. And in my original design, I only used 6, I believe. I used 5. And since this is a little different shape, I wasn't sure if I'm going to need another one or not. I'm going to start off with the 5. And we're going to see if that's going to be far enough, that's going to be enough links. And if it's not, I can always add another link because I am using a different shape instead of the baguette like I had originally done. So I've got it all laid out, and then one end is going to be, either end's going to have the toggle, and one end I'm going to use a little chain extender so that the toggle goes through the loop, because sometimes when you have something large on the ends like that, it's a little harder to get it to go through the loop. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up a jump ring. And again, I'm using flat nose and chain nose pliers. So I'm going to pick up a jump ring, and I'm going to have the opening at the top, and again I'm going to open it by pulling and pushing away. And then we're going to slip it on one of the sterling silver links, and then I'm going to slip it on one of the Swarovski connectors. And I'm going to close. And see how they connect together. And then I'm just going to continue this throughout the bracelet so you can see how these things just go together. They go together really easily. And of course there's other uses for this other than a bracelet. You could do earrings like we just did, but you can also use these kind of connectors for earrings. You could also make pendants out of them. But the heavier the gauge jump ring you use, especially on a bracelet, the better, because it's going to be a little more durable and they're not going to pull apart. It's very simple. Okay, I've got the majority of the bracelet done, and I'm working on the last few links. And again, it's just a very redundant process. You're opening and closing the links, and but it makes a really nice statement. Using these little connectors and make really great earrings. I like using them to make earrings, especially with the sterling silver one. I think everybody in the office has at least some kind of an earring that we've used the hammered oval links and rectangle links. There's lots of uses for them. I'm just going to check, see if it would, yep, it'd be about right. I'm going to add another hammered link to this end, and then we're going to add the clasp. Okay. And then for the clasp, I'm going to go ahead and use just a smaller jump ring. You don't have to. This is just how I've got it done. And I'm going to add it to the end of the link. And then I'm going to add one end of the toggle. This is the loop part of the toggle, so I'm going to add it directly to the link. And then for the bar, just to make sure that's going to go through the loop, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of chain, then the bar. So I've just taken a little scrap piece of chain. It can be any kind of chain that you like. It's probably about 1 inch, and you may not even need much or any at all. And then I'm going to add the last link to the chain and then to the bar. You didn't have to wire wrap anything, and you just made a bracelet using just jump rings and links.